I'm now going to teach you a little bit about VoiceOver on an iOS-based device like an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod Touch. First of all, you need to turn on that feature. These are the appropriate settings. Go to Settings, Touch General, then Touch Accessibility. Now before you touch accessibility, actually make sure that multitasking gestures is turned on. To make it a lot easier to do what you want to do, I would recommend that you use your fingers in order to get VoiceOver to tell you the entire email message or web page or documents, to pause the voice, to maybe activate dictate so that it'll type out whatever you say, so on and so forth. There's a lot of multitasking gestures that should be turned on. Let's go to accessibility. Okay, speech. Okay, speak selection should be turned on. Speak screen should be turned on. You can adjust the voices. You can adjust the speaking rate. Speak auto text. That's cool. When you get a little pop-up notification, it tells you exactly what's going on. Okay. I also turn on the button shape so you can easily, get to where the buttons are. Let's go to VoiceOver. Okay, once again, you can adjust the speaking rate, and I turn all these on. Hints, pitch change. So if it's a capital letter, you'll know immediately it's capitalized. There's different sound effects when different things occur, and over time you'll know what those sound effects refer to. Now I have this set up to work with a Refresh-a-Braille Bluetooth device that we'll talk about in a moment. So these are all paired up, it's all Bluetooth. Rotors is great. With rotors, when you turn your fingers like this, your thumb and your index finger, they're about maybe an inch apart. When you turn them like this on the screen, you go from option to option to option. And the options change according to what app you're working with. When you hear an option that relates to what you want to work with, you flick up or you flick down, flick, 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 in order to make your adjustments. So these are the rotors I like to work with. Letters, words, lines, speech rate. There's buttons for volume, who cares about that? Containers, all the different objects on the screen. Headings, that's the different sections of a web page. The hyperlinks within a page. The forms, the list. If you go to the right hand side, you can actually adjust the order, and this is the order I prefer. Lists, tables, landmarks, the visited links that you go to on a regular basis, the buttons within a web page. These are all web page rotors. So again, the rotors change depending on where you are. Just the text within a web page. This is the search engines, and I didn't check mark anything else. Let's go back. And another finger gesture, 2 fingers, and like this, up, down, that's known as sweeping. It takes you right back to your previous page real quickly. Let's go to typing style. That's interesting. You can choose touch typing. With touch typing, you glide your finger to a letter, lift, you get the letter. Another finger, lift, get the letter. Another finger, lift, get the letter. Very, very quick and easy, as opposed to getting to the letter, then tap, tap, letter, tap, tap, which is kind of a pain. Let's go back to accessibility, and now let's go to VoiceOver, and let's turn it on.
VoiceOver on.
Okay, great. So now let's get to the home screen. I do work with Siri a lot in order to open up
Fun
apps.
folder.
For example,
Double
open notes. And here's my notes.
Note. Text field. Is editing. This is such an exciting class. I hope you're having just as much fun as I'm having. You are.
That was from another class. I didn't do that just for this
Fun
video.
folder. 9 apps.
But yeah, I use Siri primarily
Double tap to open.
to open up apps. It's also used a lot to schedule events and to see what's scheduled, to text and to find out what people texted you, in order to type out email messages and see what was emailed to you, things like that. If you have an iPhone, I use Siri a lot in order to listen to voicemail messages. But it's also used, again, primarily to open up a specific app. And there's also notification sounds. Thanks to the notification sound, you know exactly what's going on. There's a unique sound for calendar and for texting and for Facebook, for sending messages. You need to know what those unique sounds are. Here are the apps I highly recommend if you have no usable vision.
Games folder. 4 app. Blind folder. Low vision.
By the way,
folder.
this is how
Photos.
VoiceOver works.
Settings. Notes.
As you glide your
Directions
finger
folder.
around the screen,
Dropbox. NFB Newsline. Vision
you're
set.
told
Voice
exactly
rate.
what your
Browse
finger is
cell.
on.
Vision settings.
It's a screen
Blind
reader.
folder. 17 opening blindfold blind.
So these are some of the
Heading.
highly
Text
recommended
field.
apps. Say Text, TapTapC, VizWiz, Say Color, iNote, Color ID, Bard Mobile, Blind Square. Now to scroll to another page, to scroll left, right, or up or down, to scroll, it's 3 fingers, slide in the direction you want to move the screen. 3 fingers, very important. Finger gestures, tune in radio, digit eyes, light, eye blink radio, blind bargains, audio labels, light, voice eye, flexi, translate,
Page 3 of 3.
and audible. Those are
Page 2 of
the
3.
really
Page 1 of
popular
Say
apps
Color.
which cater to people
Double tap to
who are
open.
blind. Okay.
Page 1 of 3. Page 2 of 3. Closing blindfold.
If you make any
blind
mistakes,
folder.
just press the home
17
button.
apps. Double tap to open. Notes.
We'll go back to notes.
Double tap to
We'll
open.
talk about dictate.
This is compose button.
Okay. With dictate, 2 fingers, you tap twice. This is just a test, comma. It is only a test, period. And it's really quick, really accurate. And it's going to keep on typing exactly what I say, comma, until with 2 fingers I tap twice. Isn't this amazing if you have a lot of problems with the virtual keyboard, or if you have a hard time with spelling, question mark?
Inserted. This is just a test. It is only a
2
test.
fingers, tap
It's
once.
really quick, really.
The speech pauses. 2 fingers slide down.
Compose button.
It resumes
October
where you left
15,
off.
2014, 3:18 p.m. Note. Text field is editing. This is just a test. It is only a test. It's really quick. Note. Text field is editing. This is.
And that is a little
Notes.
bit about
tap to
finger
open.
gestures. Oh, here's another cool finger gesture. If you get to the first
Fun folder.
icon on the
9
screen,
apps.
you can just flick to the
Double
right
tap
and
to
look what
open.
happens.
Games folder. Blind folder.
Just flick to the
location,
right.
Directions.
It's going to go
notes,
from
settings, photos,
app to
Dropbox,
app to app
NFB,
in order.
Vision, voice stream. Pay tap. Spell a word. Cello.
And let's do
Double tap to
gestures. I mean, rotors.
Words.
That's words.
Speech rate.
Speech rate. Flick down.
15%, 10%, 5%.
We're just flicking down to make it slower, or flick up to make it faster.
15, 20%,
That's how rotors work.
30%. Containers.
Containers is cool.
Doc. Messages. Fun folder. 9 apps. Doc. Messages. Fun folder.
Okay,
9 apps.
so this is one container, that's another
Double tap to
container.
open. Headings. Characters.
Okay, flick up.
Games folder. Capital G. A. N. E. S.
Great for spelling.
Sierra.
So that's VoiceOver. Now the problem with VoiceOver is that it does make a lot of noise, so it can be really distracting to classmates or to a teacher. It doesn't give you much privacy as well, and you can plug in a pair of headphones, but then you're greatly distracted when you're in school. You have a hard time hearing classmates or the teacher. So the alternative is to work with one of these devices, a Braille display. This is also a note taker. It's called the APH Refresher Braille 18. You turn it on by simply pressing this one button on the bottom. Okay, now it's turned on. Now with 3 fingers, you can tap a couple times.
Speech off.
And now instead of hearing speech, you feel whatever's on the screen. And you can use the joystick to go from item to item. You hear clicks, but that's it. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but the Braille display is changing. Use the joystick to go from item to item to item. When you're on an item that relates to what you want, you just push in the joystick to choose it. Okay? So that's the Refresher Braille 18.